Welcome back to the Chanel USD Coins coin collectors, treasure hunters, and curious minds from around the world. If you're someone who enjoys the thrill of the hunt, the beauty of rare coins, and the excitement of discovering hidden treasures in the palm of your hand, then you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible story behind a seemingly ordinary coin that has captured the attention of numismatists and investors alike, the 1995 Liberty 1 dime. At first glance, it might look like just another coin you'd find in your change jar, but under the surface lies a world of mystery, rarity, and staggering value. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that is worth up to $3.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. $3.5 million for a single dime, and it all comes down to a fascinating combination of minting errors, historical context, and extreme rarity. So, buckle up and stay with us as we explore the 1995 Liberty 1 dime, a modern-day marvel in the world of rare coins. We'll cover everything from how this coin came to be, what sets it apart from the billions of other dimes out there, and why collectors are willing to pay astronomical sums of money to add one to their collection. Along the way, we'll also take a closer look at the U.S. minting process, common and uncommon errors, and the specific features of the 1995 dime that make it one of the most valuable coins ever to surface in modern times. Let's begin by looking at the background of the 1995 dime itself. This coin was minted at the Denver Mint, which is what the D Mint mark stands for. The Denver Mint has been producing coins since 1906 and is one of the most trusted and busiest mints in the United States. In 1995, the U.S. Mint was producing dimes in large quantities, primarily for everyday circulation. These coins are part of the Roosevelt Dime series, which began in 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death. The Roosevelt design has remained largely unchanged, making it easy to overlook unless you know exactly what to look for. Now, here's where things get interesting. While billions of dimes were struck in 1995, only a handful of the Denver minted versions have been found to contain extremely rare and significant minting errors. These errors weren't caught at the time of production, which is exactly what makes them so valuable today. The most astounding examples of these errors are so rare that some collectors are willing to pay millions to own them. But what kinds of errors could possibly turn a 10-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure? One of the most commonly reported errors found on these coins involves a double die obverse, where the features on the front of the coin, most notably the word Liberty, the date, and Roosevelt's profile, appear slightly doubled. This doubling is a result of the coin die striking the blank planchet more than once in misaligned positions. But what makes the 1995 version particularly remarkable is that this doubling is not always uniform. In some examples, the doubling is extremely crisp and clear, which significantly increases the coin's value. Collectors and experts have noted that certain 1995 dimes also show unusual die cracks. These are small raised lines on the coin's surface that appear due to a fracture in the die used to strike the coin. While minor die cracks are not uncommon in circulation coins, extensive or uniquely shaped cracks, especially those that affect Roosevelt's portrait or run through key lettering like Liberty or In God We Trust, can make a coin far more desirable to high-end collectors. These kinds of imperfections add uniqueness to each coin, essentially making each one a one-of-a-kind specimen. Another major factor contributing to the astronomical value of the 1995 dime is off-center strikes. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned within the press at the time of striking, resulting in part of the design being cut off. In extreme cases, as much as 50% of the design can be missing, leaving a crescent shape on one side and blank space on the other. These types of errors are highly prized by collectors because they are easy to spot and rare to find in pristine condition. Then we have coins struck on the wrong planchet. This type of error occurs when a blank intended for another denomination, such as a penny or a foreign coin, is accidentally used to strike a dime. Imagine finding a dime with the size and weight of a penny, or even one struck on a copper planchet instead of the usual clad composition of copper and nickel. These errors are not only rare, but they represent a complete breakdown in the minting quality control process, which is precisely why they are so valuable when discovered. In one astonishing case, a 1995 D dime was found to have been struck on a blank planchet intended for a foreign coin. The dimensions, weight, and even metallic content were all incorrect for a US dime, yet the coin bore all the hallmarks of a Roosevelt dime, with the D mint mark, the correct year, and the characteristic design. Such an anomaly is virtually unheard of and speaks to an extremely rare convergence of minting circumstances. It's not hard to see why such a coin could command a seven-figure price tag at auction, but rarity alone doesn't guarantee a high market value. It's the combination of rarity, historical interest, visual appeal, and collector demand that pushes a coin like the 1995 D Liberty 1 dime into the realm of the extraordinary. In the world of coin collecting, these factors come together in what experts call the perfect storm. And for this particular dime, that storm has resulted in a face value of $3.50 million. You might be wondering, how can a modern coin, from the relatively recent year of 1995, reach such insane value levels? Shouldn't older coins from centuries ago be more valuable? While age can certainly contribute to a coin's worth, it is not the sole determinant. In fact, more recent coins with dramatic and verified minting errors can fetch much higher prices than older coins with no significant defects. The key lies in the error's visibility, rarity, and the coin's overall condition. Mint state, or uncirculated coins, that feature these errors are even more valuable, especially if they've been graded and certified by professional organizations like PCGS or NGC. Professional grading is an essential part of establishing a coin's legitimacy and value. When a 1995 D dime with a verified error is graded as MS-65 or higher, it instantly becomes a magnet for collectors looking to secure a unique piece of American minting history. The higher the grade, the sharper the details, and the better the eye appeal, all of which add serious weight to the final auction price. Some of the most famous specimens of the 1995 D Liberty 1 dime have sold at high-profile auctions or in private sales, with bidding wars driving the prices into the millions. Now let's talk about why so few of these valuable error coins exist. The US Mint has very strict quality control procedures in place, and while mistakes do happen, most are caught before the coins enter circulation. Only a tiny fraction of flawed coins manage to slip through the cracks and make their way into the pockets and purses of the American public. That means that finding a 1995 D dime with one of these rare errors is like striking gold. You could have one sitting in a forgotten jar, tucked away in a drawer, or hiding in your pocket change right now. Some lucky individuals have done just that, stumbled upon a seemingly ordinary dime that turned out to be worth a life-changing fortune. These stories continue to fuel interest in the 1995 D dime, as more and more people begin to understand what to look for and how to spot the signs of a valuable error. As awareness grows, so does the number of people checking their change, hoping to be the next big discovery in the world of numismatics. But let's go even deeper into the possible mistakes that can make a 1995 D dime worth such a massive amount of money. One of the most elusive and mysterious errors involves what's known as a clashed die. This occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving impressions of one die on the other. The result is a ghostly, overlapping image on the next coin struck by those dies. A 1995 D dime with such a clash could have parts of Roosevelt's profile appearing faintly on the reverse side, or elements of the torch and olive branch showing up behind his neck. This kind of error is incredibly rare and mesmerizing to behold, a true collector's dream. Another lesser-known but highly valuable error involves misaligned dies. If the obverse and reverse dies are not perfectly aligned, the resulting coin will have an off-center design that is still complete, a rare combination that adds serious intrigue and collector interest. These coins often show a crescent-shaped blank area on one edge and a compressed design on the opposite side. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more collectible and valuable the coin becomes, and let's not forget about missing clad layer errors. The modern dime is made from a copper core with an outer layer of nickel-clad copper. In some cases, the outer clad layer can be partially or entirely missing, resulting in a coin that appears coppery red rather than silver. This kind of error is not only visually striking but also a clear indication of a failure in the minting process. When this happens on a 1995 D dime and is combined with other errors, the value can skyrocket. Over time, the legend of the 1995 D Liberty 1 dime has only grown, fueled by both verified discoveries and rumors of yet-to-be-found specimens. Social media, auction records, and collector forums have all played a role in spreading awareness and generating buzz. As more people learn about the possible. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that looks ordinary on the surface but has turned heads in the numismatic world for its incredible and unexpected value. We're talking about none other than the 2012 P Liberty 1 dime, yes, a 10-cent piece that in certain rare conditions has fetched attention for being worth up to $1.5 million. That's right, from pocket change to millionaire status, and it all comes down to one thing: minting errors and mistakes that turn the mundane into the magnificent. Stick around, because in this deep dive journey, we're going to explore how a modern dime, a coin minted in recent times when quality control was expected to be airtight, can turn into one of the most sought-after collectibles in American numismatic history. We're going to explore the background of the 2012 P Liberty 1 dime, why it stands out from other dimes, what makes it unique, and most importantly, how specific errors and rare features can make it worth a fortune. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just found a 2012 dime in your drawer and got curious, this video is for you. First, let's lay the foundation and talk about what the 2012 P Liberty 1 dime is. Officially, this coin is part of the Roosevelt Dime series, a series that began in 1946 to honor the late President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The 2012 P dime was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and the P mint mark is visible on the obverse, or front side, of the coin. Like all Roosevelt dimes minted for circulation in 2012, this coin has a composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel and weighs about 2.27 grams. On the surface, there's nothing extraordinary about this, and millions were minted that year, so what's the big deal? Well, the answer lies in the world of minting errors. You see, while most coins pass through the minting process without issue, a very small fraction may encounter issues during their production: mechanical faults, die errors, striking mistakes, or planchet anomalies. These mistakes, especially when they are rare or dramatic, can significantly increase a coin's desirability among collectors. Some of these flawed coins become extremely rare and therefore very valuable, sometimes shockingly so. The 2012 P Liberty 1 dime is a standout example. Though millions of standard versions were produced, a handful with specific and extraordinary errors made their way into the hands of the public. Let's take a closer look at some of the most astonishing and valuable error types found on the 2012 P Liberty 1 dime, starting with double dies. A double die error occurs during the hubbing process, when the coin's design is impressed more than once onto the die that will strike the coins. If there is a slight misalignment between impressions, it results in doubled features on the coin. On the 2012 P dime, a known double die error shows clear doubling in the word Liberty, In God We Trust, and sometimes even the date 2012. This kind of doubling is dramatic enough that it can be seen with the naked eye, though a magnifying glass helps confirm it. Collectors covet these because they are clear examples of a minting anomaly, and when verified by grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, these coins can fetch tens of thousands, or more, depending on the clarity and condition. Another error that's gained fame among collectors is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank, or planchet, is not properly aligned within the coining press. As a result, the design is not centered on the coin, and part of the design may even be missing. The more off-center the strike while still showing a complete date and mint mark, the more valuable the coin. In 2012, several Liberty 1 dimes were discovered with noticeable off-center strikes ranging from 10% to more than 50%. A 50% off-center 2012 P dime, especially in mint condition and with the date fully visible, can be worth thousands, potentially tens of thousands depending on market conditions and buyer demand. There's also the well-known broad strike error. Unlike off-center strikes, a broad strike happens when the collar die that holds the coin in place fails to engage, allowing the metal to expand more than normal. The result is a coin that appears larger and flatter than usual, lacking a defined rim. It might not sound dramatic, but to a trained eye and especially in the world of error collectors, these features make a coin stand out. A 2012 P dime with a broad strike error in uncirculated condition could sell for hundreds, if not more depending on the error's prominence. Then, there's the ever-elusive and dramatic mule error, arguably the holy grail of minting mistakes. A mule error occurs when two dies that were never intended to be paired are mistakenly used together. While there have been no widely confirmed mule errors for the 2012 P Liberty 1 dime yet, the numismatic community remains watchful. Even rumors of a 2012 dime with an incorrect reverse, perhaps a reverse from a different denomination, can send shockwaves through the collector world. If such a coin were to be authenticated, its value could skyrocket well past $1.5 million due to the extraordinary rarity of such an event. These are the kinds of errors that become the stuff of legends, and with modern coins, they are even more astounding because today's minting process is more controlled than ever. Another incredible and rare phenomenon is the presence of a misaligned die strike. This error occurs when the obverse and reverse dies are not properly aligned during striking. It may result in one side of the coin being slightly rotated or offset compared to the other. In some cases, this results in what's known as a rotated die error. A few examples of 2012 P dimes have surfaced with such anomalies, and their value increases with the degree of rotation. A dramatic rotated die of 90 degrees or more can be a major collector's item. Some 2012 P Liberty 1 dimes also show clashed dies. This happens when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, causing part of the design from one side to transfer onto the other. This can create ghostly images or outlines of one side's design showing up faintly on the other. A coin with strong die clash marks is highly sought after, especially when the clash is obvious and creates a kind of artistic overlay of designs. On the 2012 P dime, a noticeable clash can mean big bucks. Cuds and die breaks also play a role in boosting the value of these coins. A cud is a raised lump of metal on the coin, usually caused by a piece of the die breaking off, leaving a void that fills with metal during striking. Similarly, die cracks are small lines where the die has begun to fracture. Both of these can be found on 2012 P dimes, and depending on the size, location, and rarity, these features can increase the coin's value significantly. A large cud covering part of the rim or lettering is considered a premium error and could bring in thousands. Now, why does all this matter so much for a coin that's relatively modern? One key reason is the increased scrutiny and quality control at modern mints. In earlier decades, minting errors were more common because technology wasn't as precise. But today, with advanced machines, laser scanning, and digital diagnostics, mint errors are much rarer. So, when a modern coin like the 2012 P Liberty 1 dime escapes the mint with an error, and especially if it is dramatic or unique, it's not just a mistake. It's a once-in-a-generation anomaly. That's what makes it so special, and that's why collectors are willing to pay a premium for it, but the story doesn't end there. Authentication plays a huge role in determining a coin's worth. Error coins, especially those with major potential value, must be certified by respected grading companies such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC. These services not only confirm the authenticity of the coin and its error, but they also assign a grade based on its condition, from poor to mint state. The higher the grade and the more dramatic the error, the more valuable the coin. Imagine a 2012 P Liberty 1 dime that has a double die obverse, an off-center strike, and a high mint state grade, say MS68 or higher. That combination of factors could push the coin's value into 6 or even 7 figures. That's how you get to the $1.5 million figure that has circulated in collector conversations and auction house whispers. And yes, some collectors are willing to pay that much for the rarest, most pristine, and error-laden specimens, particularly if only one or two are known to exist, but there's also the mystery factor. Some of the most valuable coins in the world aren't valuable just because of what's on the coin, but because of what might be discovered next. Collectors speculate. They hope. They hunt. And in the case of the 2012 P dime, there's ongoing hope that even rarer errors, perhaps even an unreported mule or a striking on the wrong planchet, could still be out there. This speculation drives up the perceived value of known examples and increases attention on this unassuming 10-cent piece. So, if you're holding onto a 2012 P Liberty 1 dime, take a good look at it. Use a magnifying glass. Check for doubling in the lettering or date. Look for strange bulges or breaks in the rim. Compare both sides for alignment. If something seems off, don't ignore it. You could be holding something far more valuable than face value would ever suggest. And even if you're not lucky enough to find $1 million dime, the search itself connects you to a fascinating world of history, artistry, and chance. In conclusion, the 2012 P Liberty 1 dime may seem like just another modern coin, but thanks to a series of rare and extraordinary minting errors, it has become one of the most talked about pieces in the collector world. Whether it's a double die, an off-center strike, a broad strike,